day begun. I lived one life. As the day ended, I had begun anew, reborn with a new life, a new mission, reborn with a new vision. What may come, I don't know yet, but I am here alive, living my life to the fullest, with new love in my heart and soul, a gift to have, a gift to give, a new life of love. Reborn. I'm like an ice skater dancing out for the first time on the form solid ice. No more fears, no sorrows, because I love the coming tomorrows. This life has barely begun, but now I know what I wanna do. I know what I wanna be, reborn. Finally feeling I am fulfilling my destiny, with a heart filled of gratefulness, happiness, joy, overflowing of kindness and love. Oh, so much love. I feel like love is the supportive pillar in my soul, and it only grows each day. I'm reborn in love.
All right, let's get it going on. Good afternoon, lovely human beings. Thank you for being here. I'm not sure if Brazy is going to make it, but you got me. I do sound a little hoarse. I've been struggling with this darn cold, and it's kicking my tush. But I'm not giving up on this book today, so I'm very excited. So today's April 17th, and we're talking about the let them theory. So I'm really excited about this book. I have not finished it. I'm still reading it. But what I was hoping today was to greet everybody, to ask everyone in the chat if they have started the book, if they've read the book, if they have opinion about the book. I'm going to read a few things. I have a few questions. I have a few statements, and just try to engage conversation. At the end, I'm going to pose to those of you in the chat if moving forward we should take this out of the YouTube world and do a face-to-face through Google Meet, for example, and have a lively conversation. So I know people are still probably finding the channel today. But while I have Millie and Josh here, have either of you read the book, are in the process of reading the book, want to read the book, know anything about the book, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbin? And so I'll give you a sec to just put in the chat a yay or a nay. And while you're doing that, I want to read what Mel says this book will benefit you. So the book covers the let them theory, what it is, why it works, and how to use it in 8 key areas of your life where you've been trying to control things that you simply cannot control. It is packed with research, evidence, and stories of how you can apply the let them theory, and you'll learn that this approach is supported by ancient philosophies, therapeutic modalities, and the core teachings of the world's major religions, Stoicism, and spiritual practices. And so for me, let's see, I watched Mel. I've heard her talk about it, and I think I understand it without having read it. Excellent. And Josh says, I have the audiobook, not listened yet. Yep, no worries. And so one of the things that I feel, just as a control freak, there's a power, you think, in your mind when we try to assert control over situations that we have absolutely no control over. And some of the things that it really brought to mind when I was reading it, I'm trying to change my life. I'm trying to be the person that I feel like I've been stifled to become because I've allowed myself to get stuck in sort of this false sense of, well, I've got this. I can control this. I know everything. And if you would only listen to me. And partly that just comes from feeling so insignificant in the world. Hey, Dale, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're only just getting started. So, when you don't feel like you have a voice or you don't feel like you're in control of things, there's this false world we create. Well, I've got this and I can tell you what's what. So, that's sort of how I've behaved most of my life. So because I thought, if you would just listen to what I have to say. And so some of her stories really hit me. So in case you don't know, the Let Them Theory by Mel, it's a self-help book, right? It introduces this change in mindset, revolving around the phrases that she uses: let them and let me. Oh, my iPad was talking to me. So really what the let them means is it's encouraging readers, us, humans, people, to release the need of controlling others' actions, thoughts, or feelings. And by doing so, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and allow others to be themselves. So for me, that's a wowza for me. The let me part, the second half of her theory, it shifts the focus inward, reminding us to take responsibility for our own responses, energies, and priorities. And I've talked about this with the 12 universal laws of the universe, right? Number 1 is the divine oneness. Number 2, I don't know why, it must be understanding my language. And it starts talking to me. It's freaking me out. What was I saying? Oh, the universal laws. So the divine oneness, right? And then we've talked about the law of vibration. We've talked about the law of, I got to get comfy, the law of correspondence. And the most recent law of the universe we've talked about is the law of attraction. So what we put out into the world, we get back. And it's to allow us as the readers of our own life to take control and be responsible for our own responses. So before you get yourself all twisted in a knot in an argument, take a step back and breathe. And you can think to yourself, is this really about me? They're not angry at me, right? So it's about response. In this book, what it seems to me, and this is where I want to engage in conversation. Great, Dale. We're going to talk about the book. So just buckle up and join the ride. So this book is just filled with advice, suggestions, anecdotes, insights, from psychology, from neuroscience, and it explores how we can improve relationships by simply let them do them and let me respond accordingly. And it helps us to really talk about it, to really navigate through some of our own actions of things that we've done, right? So one of the things, and I'm not going to read the whole book, so don't freak out. I'm not going to sit here and read all day, but there are things that and you can see I've got notes. One of the things that Mel says in the very beginning is that if we're struggling to change our life or achieve goals or feel happiness, the problem isn't you. The problem is the power you unknowingly give to other people. Isn't that amazing? So, yes, Dale, I'm sorry. It's the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. It's a self-help book. And like Millie said, she wrote it with her daughter. So the way that it sort of kicked off was Mel being a mother and a control freak. She'd already had two of her daughters go to a prom, and they did the dresses, they did the flowers, they did the restaurants and the reservations. And then along comes her son. And he wasn't even sure until the week before that he was going to go to his prom. And he wasn't even sure he was going to bring a date. And when all of these things started to fall into place, and he got his tux and he's wearing sneakers with the tux, it comes down to it the night of the prom, he didn't make reservations. It's pouring rain outside and they didn't make reservations to a restaurant. Sorry. It's pouring rain out. They don't even have umbrellas. And she's getting herself all twisted up. Like, what the hell is this kid doing? I'm just going to have to take control. And the daughter says, Mom, let them go out in the rain. They know it's raining. Let them figure out where they're going to go to eat. Let them. And for Mel, that was a big ding, 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 ding in her head. And she started to research the let them theory and how we can change our responses to situations, thereby relieving, stress, right? So if we go in a little bit deeper, it's most of us have control issues, right? So it's very difficult to control other people. As a matter of fact, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to control people, whether it's their behaviors or their decisions or their attitudes, their political views, their religious views, their anything. So what she says is by saying, let them, you are acknowledging the autonomy. You're relinquishing control over somebody else because really you don't have any control over them. And what it does is reduce the conflict and allows for space for basically mutual respect. It also empowers you with the let me, because the shift is really inward. It's urging you, right, to take responsibility for your choices, your actions, your emotional state. This aspect about setting boundaries and prioritizing your needs and responding to situations with clarity. And there is a part in the book that she talks about, and it's so funny because I used to travel a lot, and this really hit me. She was on a plane, and this guy behind her was hacking up a lung. He was coughing, and she would peer in between the seat and see he's not even covering his mouth, right? So she's getting all riled up. So she's trying to control the situation, and she turns around. And I am sort of taking liberties with some of the story, so don't hold me to everything. But she turns around and asks him to please cover his mouth. He sort of humors her and then continues to hack up a lung. What she says in the story is, now she doesn't want to get sick. She's on her way to a conference. She's going to be speaking. She's going to be doing a lot of engagements. He's coughing a lung. How rude of him. How pissed off is she? Hey, Karen, welcome. Come on in. We're talking about the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbin. And so I'll get to it in the book, but I want to just get to, if I can find the part that she says, what she ends up doing is she said, what can I control? I can't control this other person, but I'm responsible for my health. I can cover my mouth. I can put, a scarf or a mask on, and I can eat well and get rest and take care of myself. So it is absolutely one of those things that all of us, it's our natural instinct to want to go banana cakes at somebody that's pissing you off. And you want to take control over the situation, but the other person isn't playing the same game with you, right? I'm going to get realigned here. I'm sort of uncomfortable. So the benefits of this theory at a high level is it's improving relationships, because by accepting other people as they are, right, you have a better relationship, a more authentic, communication or connection with somebody. And I think it sort of de-stresses the situation. So let's see. I want to just get to, I have so many things here that I have highlighted. So the Let Them theory is about freedom. 2 simple words, let them, will free you from the burden of trying to manage other people. When you stop obsessing over what other people think, say, or do, you finally have the energy to focus on your own life. You stop reacting and start living. Isn't that awesome? So simple. We know this, yet we don't do it. So by letting them, we are surrendering, if you will, that false sense that we can control and change and manipulate all situations. And that other people really hold no power over us either, unless we give it to them. So that's where we're going to go with this. Is everybody with me so far? Any comments? And I guess I would want to ask, I know that, Josh hasn't listened to it yet, and Millie sort of dabbled in it. Dale, this is new to you. Karen, have you read, heard about, listened to the book the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbin? And you can just, put a little something, something there in the comments. It does make for a happier self. So when you guys hear the phrase, let them, like, what does that mean to you? Anything? And so I'm going to keep going. I have other questions that I'm going to ask, but, in the second chapter, she talks about the principles of the let them and let me, and how to reset stress, right? So you're shifting focus. That's amazing, Josh, that you use it daily. I can admire that. I struggle with that even as recent as yesterday. So I can share, and I'll share the story because it is a growth story for me. But I think I've shared that my dad has cancer and he's going through um, chemo, and they have him on freaking debilitating pain meds that make him hallucinate, and he's trippy. And our family, my dad really never took much medicine, so the fact that they have him on a fentanyl patch and Dilaudid and Tylenol, the man's all, he is really, he's going through it. Um, and I get a call from him while he's in the hospital because they rushed him to the hospital because he was in excruciating pain on these trippy ass drugs that are supposed to reduce the pain. And I'm not understanding anything. And my first instinct was, let me talk to the doctor. Let me talk to my stepmother. Let me get in there and, take control and organize and, become militant about his care. And then I took a step back and I was like, no, let them. If they're at the hospital, I'm not. Yes, the fentanyl patches, Dale. I don't know. You're asking, I'm choking here, right, with the drugs, because if he's complaining so badly about pain and he's on these super duper drugs, the only thing these super duper drugs seem to be doing is making him Looney Tunes. And I know that's what fentanyl does, but anyway, I let them. I offered suggestions, and then I stepped back because I just was like, okay, Dad, I'm really sorry you're going through this. And it's really hard for me. I don't know how to respond. He sounds like a drunken sailor. He's mumbling, and he mumbles when he's sober, by the way. He's a mumbler. And my stepmother didn't want to get on the phone with me. I think she's afraid of me. And I think that's because I'm a control freak. So I was just like, okay, what can I do? Nothing. What's going to make me feel less stressed and less confrontational? Because I'm not helping him by me being a nut job on the other end of the phone going, what do you mean this is happening? What do you mean? And then vomiting my stuff, right? I'm not helping him. He's tripping. He's not even going to remember the conversation. So it was a real lesson. And this book is helping me with that. Because, it's stepping back to say, I don't know how to help you. Yes, he's in Dilaudid as well, that pill form. It's just, this isn't about me or my dad's cancer. I was just kind of just talking about the fact that I had to let me respond. And in a way, I was grateful because then the nurse came in and he couldn't talk and he got all riled up and he hung up. And I was like, okay, good. And I'm not going to call today. My stepmother sent a global text to the family, just trying to give us an update. And I'm going to text back after this and say, tell him I'll call him tomorrow after his chemo and check in on him. So allow him some space from me. And then it gives me time to work on the let them and let me response. It's really difficult. And I think I shared 2 weeks ago or so, a neighbor went banana cakes at me for something I had no control over. And it's really hard when you have somebody that is confrontational in your face. And he's a bully anyway, on a good day. And my response, was to sort of take the wind out of his sail. Once I stepped back for a second and said, this isn't about me. Take a step back, Teresa. Breathe. Because He's going nuts that some stranger dumped a recliner against the fence of my property where I'm renting. My landlord is handling it, and he's making a scene. And I was like, I can't do anything about this. So let him. Let him sound like an idiot. Let him make a scene in the whole neighborhood. 2 streets on either side. I have friends on both sides said, what the hell was going on? I'm like, my neighbor was just expressing himself. Like, he expresses himself a lot. Yes, he does. And my response was twofold, because I stood up for myself and I said, I'm not going to interact with a bully, and I'm not allowing you to verbally abuse me. I said, I brought my dogs in the house. We went into the house, and for 10 minutes, he still ranted outside. Um, and, so you have to make the decision. In the past, I would have gone toe to toe with him. And I really wanted to call him all sorts of names. But what's that going to do? It doesn't solve anything except make me anxious and upset and angry. And I'm trying to manage anger. I don't want to go around with a stick up my butt all the time. And I don't want to feel like a witch on a broom, unless I'm a happy witch on a broom. So, it's it's like you've got to find your mojo. And this book, this story is helping me. And I think what it does is it allows you to know you don't have control over someone else's response, actions or decisions, but you can take responsibility with the let me part and encourage yourself to focus on your response, setting boundaries, prioritizing your own self-care, and choosing how you're going to respond. And then guarding your peace, right? Mel talks about emphasizing the importance of not taking on other people's problems and letting their behavior disrupt your calm. Like my dad, by consciously deciding to let them handle their own issues. So I'm aware he's got to talk to the doctors. My stepmother's got to talk to the doctors, the nurses, the clinicians. They have to figure out the right meds. P.S. Apparently they're going to talk to the pain management doctor. Yay. And, sort of go through those. What did Millie say? Hold on. I want to get to Millie. Sorry, Millie. I am. And I'm doing this squinting. Why am I squinting? Millie said, yes, I was given those patches when I was in the hospital for leukemia. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you're doing well. And you heard voices and saw giant spiders climbing on the wall. So my dad is hearing opera music. Now, he says it sounds very nice. But when I was also talking to him the other day, he thought I said something about some Dr. Blasio. Now, I don't know any Dr. Blasio. Nothing like that came out of my mouth. And he insisted. So you just have to back it up, let him do his thing, and hope that they find, a solution to these meds and his pain. And I don't know what the answer is. So, all right, let's see. What's Dale saying? Hold on, I skipped. Love your ideology, Teresa. It's not about you, it's them and their problems. Your neighbor's ruining your vibration 100%. And that's what I don't want to have happen, right? I don't want to lose my vibration. I really want to be I want to raise my vibration. I want to be in a place of love and light. And I know that's not, I'm not doing Pollyanna bullshit. I get that not every day is going to be all rainbows and sunshine, but it's how I respond. And that is, there's the Sicilian in me that, and I think I shared this previously, our way of communicating was everyone yelling at the same time at the dinner table and having multiple conversations and getting really boisterous and loud. And And even if you were wrong, it was like you were there was conviction in being wrong about what you were saying. And so it gets a little bit banana cakes. So, you know, hey, I'm so glad you're here, Indigo. Welcome. What did you say here? I'm learning how to not be a toxic fixer. It's my big homework in therapy right now. Read the book. I'm telling you, you will be like, oh my God, that's so simple. And yet it's not. And Mel's not making this simple, by the way. She's being really clear. This is awareness of yourself. But we've been doing this, most people, a good portion of our lives, thinking that we can control situations that we have no control over. So, oh, terrific, Millie. That really brings me joy. Karen, to be open, I have to take medication or I can't get out of bed. And often my sisters treat me like I'm taking it out of choice. They get mean if I'm not as sharp as normal. So, Karen, I just want to, throw some love your way. Medication is there for a reason. And, if you can't get out of bed, something's going on and you're working through it and you're doing whatever you need to do. I'm sorry your sisters can't have as open mind that's going to help you get through it. I don't think you know most of my story, but when I was in my, debilitating grief and depression, it's really easy for people to say, well, go do something, get yourself up. They want to cheerlead you. They want you to snap out of the mood you're in. Don't you think if I could have freaking gotten out of the mood, I would have? So I'm sending you love and light and healing and compassion and support. I'm sorry that they can't go that extra place for you, but this channel and so many others in this community will be there for you. So, and whatever we can do to help raise you up and support you as you go through your journey, I think we would be there for you. Let's see. Yes, your situation has taught you how to be more understanding. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. Until you go through grief, you really can't understand what someone's going through. But I'm not going to wish someone that you love die so that you can sort of get into my life a little bit. No. So, and then, dun, 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 dun. Dale's saying, it's been a tough week to stop helping everyone that pushes my button, and I'm learning to love myself again and start saying no. And I think that that's one of the things that Mel's also teaching. It's how do you take care of you? And not everyone's going to, be your champion or your supporter or your encourager. You have to do that. That's the let me part of this theory, is we have to own the support for ourselves. We have to find the people in our community that will raise us up and support us. And it's really hard to want to take control. And it's also, I guess it's easy and difficult to relinquish control, because sometimes we just want to, please help me, fix me, feed me, cook for me, clean for me, help me. And it really does come down to, we have to do that. But sometimes we need the energy boost from those around us to do that. And therapy helps. And I'm a huge advocate and go all the time. And I'm, constantly evolving in other classes, because it took 61 years to get where I am, and the behaviors that I have manifested and to unlearn that takes time. So again, short of me going all shatter the vase and then put it back together, which is what I have essentially done when I lost my mom and then had my near death experience. And since then, I'm trying to put me back together. Well, no. I'm going to change that. I'm not trying to put me back together. I am putting me back together with love, with gold, with silver, with this vibration of love and light and healing and compassion and community. And I think that's where we sometimes we forget. And so I think it's critical. All right. Oh, Care Bear, thank you for being here. I caught the end of your show today. I've been really bad about participating, but I am trying to get into people's channels. And so where's Indigo? Let me get my glasses, Indigo. I think it comes from my need to plan and feel stable from all the instability I've had. In moments when I feel like I can finally relax, bam, the rug gets pulled out. So you try to fix it. But here's the thing, you don't really fix it, do you? And that's what I've had to learn. We don't really fix anything. It's this facade that we think that we're in control over it. And it's not an easy thing to say, let them fail. Let them fall off the cliff. You can be there to support them after the fact, but you have to let them. It's and partly, there's some stories in the book that Mel talks about that, so someone's not going to want to go to college. Let them not go to college. It's what other people have to do for themselves to figure out, what's their beat. I mean, I have my own drum beat in my head, booba-doom, 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 booba. They're like, ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba. And you're like, bah, 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 bah. We all have our different vibrations and we're moving within ourselves to our own channel. And I think that is acceptance of other people, right? I'm glad this family's been wonderful for you, and I hope we continue. I'm good at it, but it doesn't work that way. Sometimes people have to step up on their own. Yeah, sister, they do. I think everybody has to step up on their own. I walk with grief every day of my life. I walk with grief. I don't live in it anymore. I do stumble on occasion. And I think last week I had a rough week coming up on Easter and knowing I'm not going to be with the person that loved me the most in the world. But I also can respond with, that person wouldn't want me. My mom would not want me to live in that state of sorrow. I think if she were here, she'd want to smack me upside the head and say, snap out of it. But that doesn't mean that, grief is love. I loved someone so profoundly that I miss them every moment of every day, but I don't want to live in that place. And that was an intentional decision. Of course, having the near-death experience sort of zapped the brain and the chemistry back, helped me get out of it. But so I'm sorry you walk with grief every day, but I think especially as we age, and I have no sense of where you are in your life age-wise, but we're going to encounter more and more people dying and leaving for their next journey. And so walking with, embracing our sorrow, but not living in it. Having said that, when it first happens, we get to live in it, wallow in it, and, throw sand over the head. And we get to do whatever we need to do to survive the moment. My mom's been gone it'll be 9 years in October. So for me, it still feels like last year. Anyway, All right. So let me, whoops. So Indigo, I didn't ask you, have you read or know about or listened to the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins? And you can just drop a yay or a nay. We have to go. We have to go through the fire, also known as alchemy. Yep. Yep. Let's see. Lessons, lessons, lessons. All right. I used to feel like that at times, Indigo, because my life was too intertwined with people that I allowed to distract me from living life the way it worked best for me at my pace. And I think that that is such a crucial thing. And one of the things that Mel did say is um, the danger of saying, let them, right? It can make you feel isolated and you may withdraw and shut down. And she says, if you're doing that, that's not using the let them theory properly. When you say let me, you're tapping into your power. I'm reading my notes here. By taking responsibility for what you do, what you think, what you say next. You're in control of what happens next. And she says, what I love about Let Me is that it immediately shows you what you can control. And there's so much you can control: your attitude, your behavior, your values, your needs, your desires, and what you want to do in response to what just happened. It's the opposite of judgment. And I am queen of judgment about myself. The Let Me is all about self awareness, compassion, empowerment, and personal responsibility. Your friends who went away aren't better than you, and you aren't better than them. The let them and let me theory. The more you allow people to live their lives, the better your life will get. The more control you give up, the more you gain. The let them theory is not about superiority, it's all about balance. And the way that this came about, and this was profound to me, Mel saw on Facebook that a group of her girlfriends went away and they had a great weekend and they were going to dinners and all this stuff. And then she realized, well, they didn't invite me. What's wrong with me? And so she started to internalize and almost beat herself up that she wasn't worthy. And then she was getting mad at them for not including her in her hurt feelings. And what she's saying is, look, everybody gets to have their life. And if you turn around and think about it, maybe you haven't been calling them and socializing with them. So they just went off with, because they keep in touch and they hang out and they have a different relationship with each other. And she said, when I started to look back at it, I realized I was busy with my kids, my life, becoming a writer, speaking. She wasn't connecting with them. She didn't send them cards. She wasn't calling them and checking in with them. So what did she expect? Now, what she does from this point is if there's one or two of those people she wants to talk to, well, that's a sort of kick in the ass to pick up the phone and call her friends and reconnect. Well, this has happened to me multiple times in my life, and I get hurt. Like, well, why didn't they include me? Why didn't they call me? Well, first of all, unfortunately, now I don't live nearby some of my besties. And that doesn't mean they don't love me, and it doesn't mean they don't like me, and it doesn't mean it has any freaking thing to do with me. And what actions am I taking to remedy that? It sounds so simple, right? But boom. So, yes, please be cautious, Josh, while you're driving. Listen, don't watch. Let's see. Millie says, again, I'm trying to read without glasses. There's a truth in that about That's not what they want for us. The lower our vibration, the more things pull the rug out from under us. I've learned as I've elevated my vibration, and that's why I'm talking all year about each law of the universe, because it is about, we are all interconnected. We are in charge of our vibration. You know, if we see the sun and we have joy in the sun, we raise our vibration. If we see the sun and we're like, oh, it's too bright, I can't be out in the sun, you're lowering your vibration. What can we do to raise our vibration? We hang out, we respond, we talk to people that raise our vibration, that include us, that make us feel good, that challenge us. So I think that these are critical things. Karen's saying, Easter and birthday Monday. Oh, happy birthday. Celebrating this weekend. Happy to say I will be with the person who loves me most. Oh, you. Amen, sister. You go. And if it's appropriate, get yourself a Cadbury egg or something, something that makes you happy. So happy, happy, happy. Oops. What did I just do? Scroll, scroll, scroll. Can I scroll? All right. Indigo says, I'm 34. My birth father, birth mother, and all my mom's siblings died between 18 and 29. So I walk with grief, but I also cherish joy in the moments of peace and remembering them. Absolutely. One of my guided meditations that I do is about, I don't have anything. This is as close to it as I've got. It's a crystal. But I'll, in my meditation, ask you to hold your treasures, whatever those treasures are. And remember that having that treasure is as easy as having it in the palm of your hand, right? We have love, and it can fill the palm of your hand, and it can fill your pinky, and it can fill your each finger and each fingernail. That within each and every element of our body, our soul, our heart, our mind, if we carry people or pets or things, something that's important to us, in the palm of our hand, then they are within our heart. And they're always with us. And love is so big. That sometimes it spills over. So in my guided meditation, I keep it in the palm of your hand, so it's something you can feel. And I ask people to either find a crystal or a rock, a stone outside, just to hold, so that you walk with them and it's tangible. Because sometimes we just need something to rub between our hands. I have a what do they call this crystal? Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on it. I can rub it between my fingers. It's very soft. I'll think of the name of it. I'm having a brain fart. And it's also for nerves. It's also for anxiety. And when I feel myself stressing, it's one of those crystals that I will just sort of move my fingers over. And it's calming and it's soothing and it's bringing me back to myself and to the earth when I can't put my feet in the earth. I'm taking this class. Oh my God, it's almost time. I'm taking this class called The Living Art. And one of the things, the assignment at the full moon, this past full moon, was we were supposed to go outside and put our feet in on the earth. And they're all either in California or Florida. They're all in the warmth. And I'm like, hello, we just had snow. The ground is cold. I'm all about wanting to get with the earth, but I'll just put my hands down on the earth. I'm not putting my feet down. But it's connecting with the earth, and it's connecting with the moon, and it's connecting with our essence, and it's really just connecting with the cosmos, right? So I think raising our vibration, being part of a community, and allowing ourselves to respond thoughtfully and um, and with consideration. And we've talked about this before, and I know most of you have heard of it. You don't know until you walk a mile in someone else's shoes, you don't really know what they're experiencing. Um, and so we all have to take that moment back. Okay. I'm going to keep going here. I didn't realize how much time, how fast it's going. So that's a great idea, Karen. Um, you know, so in response, sometimes if you're in a conversation with someone, turn it around and just say, well, how would you handle this? How, how, how do you feel? Because if you turn something around to somebody in kindness and in love, they may find out they feel exactly like you. They just didn't articulate it or they didn't acknowledge it. So there's this way of interacting with people that we just have to step back. That's why you want to respond before you react, because reaction is what gets us in trouble every damn time, or at least me. Okay, let's just scroll. I kind of feel like, am I at the bottom here? Fatima, thank you for being here. Um, okay, so let me just sort of get back to some of this before we run out of time. And while I'm going back through my notes, um, is this something that you want to continue with talking about? Because I'm only like on chapter 4 in my notes for today. I didn't want to overwhelm us, but there were so many things that I wanted to talk about and share. And, it helps to problem solve some things like hacking your stress response by using this theory of let them. And one of the things that she said was the moment anything happens that stresses you out, say let them. Put yourself in pause. Then say let me and take a breath. Let me take another breath. Slow your stress response. Calm your body and brain down. Take control and regain your power. It may seem insignificant, but this one change will turn you into a different person. Catching your stress response using let them and let me empowers you to choose what you say, think, or do instead of allowing your emotions to hijack your response. No more rage, no more rage texts or snapping at your loved ones or wasting hours crafting an email. Taking deep breaths has been scientifically proven to help lower your stress response. Breathing in fully, feeling the air expand your belly, stimulates the vagus nerve, which sends a message directly to your brain that says, we can calm down. By saying let me and resetting your stress response, you are now back in control and can choose how to intentionally respond. I just love that. I really do. Um, and one of the things that she talked about, which is sort of something that happens to me a lot, the real reason that you're exhausted all the time, and it comes down from stress because your amygdala is humming in the background. It's always on. So from a neurological standpoint, your brain is actually in survival mode when you're in um, exhaustion and a constant state of fight or flight or anxiety. Your goals, your dreams, your best self, your ability to be patient and non-reactive, it all goes out the window, which is why you must solve this problem and stop allowing other people to create unnecessary stress in your life. There's too much at stake. You deserve to live a good life, but you'll never be able to do it if you're always in survival mode. And I just have to say, this is one of the things that I wish you could see this book. I have I have it all noted up, if you will. And it's to me, it's a whole new way of thinking about how we can go through these things. Oh, great! I will make it a series then. Yes, 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 yes. I'm going to. So thank you. Karen says, "Oh yes, walk a mile in my shoes." That has become something I use to understand others because my people don't understand my situation, and they can't. And that it is okay that they can't, as long as you understand your situation and you create the support you need. um, I will say that not all of my family are on board with my journey. That's okay. Let them let them have their response, because really it's not about them, it's about me. It's about what's going to work for me, it's what's going to heal me, what's going to make me radiate at a vibration that I can connect beyond myself. There's so much untapped energy and knowledge in my own damn brain that because it's been mucked up by everything, I need to clean it out so that I can reach my highest potential, whatever that is, and wherever I want to go. And from a spiritual perspective, there are places that I want to tap into that I can't do if I have cement boots on. You know what I mean? If we're going to stick in the mud and be so determined to control everything that we absolutely have no control over, I'm never going to go anywhere and I'm not going to fly. And damn it, I want to fly. Um, and Indigo says, yes, make it a series. And yeah, don't worry about, getting the book yet. I mean, you get it at your convenience and when you can. Um, and there is so much. She talks about helping someone who's struggling, and she talks about the ground rules of the ABC loop, which I'm not going to get into today because there's too much. But the ABC rule is apologize, back off, celebrate. And so there's so many things here for us. And it's also, we need to stop comparing ourselves to other people and how they navigate things. Sometimes people have different tools, and we each have, I think I talked about this once before. You could have a house full of children, and their experience growing up in that house will be different. You'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? That never happened. Well, for that child, it did. So, it's like, each person's view is their view. It doesn't matter if I was a witness to that event or not, it's their view. And so that's how I feel about me. It's my perspective. It's how I feel about things that have happened to me or I have participated in. And there's no halo for anybody. We are all culprits. We're all participants in all the choices we make. Even if we don't make a choice, we're still making a choice not to choose. So it's being made. It's kind of like you may choose not to get out of bed today, but that sun's still getting up and it's rising and it's setting, and the moon's rising and it's setting. So it's always part of us. So that's great. I will schedule another one of these because there's so much to talk about. And then I'm going to, I think what I'll do for the next one is put a series of questions out first, just to create conversation. And if everyone wants to, we can do a Google Meet. So I don't want to force that on anybody. If that's not your jam and this works best, I'm fine with this as well. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for participating. I really appreciate it. As I told you guys before we even started this book, it has been, it's made a profound change in just my own reactions to things. And it's slowing me down and chilling me out just a little bit. And I think by the time I'm finished, and I incorporate this on a regular basis, I'm going to be a happier person. So, as always, I send you with love, with light, with healing, with joy, sprinkled with laughter and giggles. For those of you that celebrate Easter or Passover, may you have many blessings this season. For those that don't, have a fantastic weekend. I'll be popping in and out of channels. I am trying to be more present outdoors in nature and recharging my winter battery that sort of has been dull. So I'm not watching as much. But again, I send you so much happiness, joy, and love. Until next time, guys. May you be blessed. And can I turn this on? Oh, there it is. Love you guys.
One day, on a cold January day, life changed in so many ways at once. As the day begun, I lived one life. As the day ended,